Oundle is a market town and civil parish on the left bank of the River Nen in North Northamptonshire, England, which has a population of 6,254 at the time of 2021 census. It's 89 miles or 111 kilometres north of London. The Oundle Vintage Festival is a biannual event and takes place on the main street in the centre of the town of Oundle. Before the start of the festival, we now see a fabulous steam engine Nero entering the town after getting up at 5 in the morning to light the fire and travelling some 25 miles to visit the town for the day. Many artefacts in the museum show that Oundle has been a settlement location for several thousand years. Oundle is probably most famous for its school, which was founded by William Laxton in 1556, and the local agricultural community that surrounds this Northamptonshire town. Kingscliff Airfield Museum put on a display with Greenman Antiques and the Clock Shop. The Oundle Museum provided a stall of artefacts from the museum. We were very lucky with some very rare vintage cars, including this GN Vitesse from 1921, the 1929 Rolls-Royce 2025 by Ian Flexer,
It's unbelievable. You know the engine's no good.
Bob Pool's Morris 8, which was built in 1934 and is a pre-series model, the Chevrolet pickup, which we shall see some more photographs of later, Andrew Stimpson's Ford V8 Pilot of 1950, which are looking immaculate. Wow. James Adams brought along his Alvis TD21 of 1959. Then we see the Jaguar C-Type replica from Simon Throw of 1951. A very rare car, Alfa Romeo Montreal, about 1969. Mike Deering's Dodge pickup from 1947, followed by Paul Dangerfield's Ford V8 Pilot from 1950, called Priscilla, followed by Caroline Aldridge's Rover P4 75 of 1953. Then, to contrast with all the cars, a giant of the roads, a very own London double-decker bus. The Vintage Festival started in 2019 when funds were required to mend the main clock in the town, and £10,000 was raised. Subsequently, there were many requests to run the event again, but of course COVID came along and we came back in 2024 putting on a bigger event and attracting some grant funding. Now the festival is set as a biannual event and will return to the streets of Oundle again in 2028. The organisers are all volunteers and will strive again to make the event free to attend, bringing the community together and attracting visitors, set against the backdrop of a wonderful historic town.
Finally drives a driver to the jeweler's store, buys a 20-carat golden ring.
Well,
At some point. A long-time supporter of our event is PC Howard, who are a warehouse and distribution company with offices at King's Cliff with 100 lorries. Of course, antiques and bric-a-brac form an interest for all ages, and we had a number of wonderful displays and an auction valuation desk, shop displays for the period with a competition for the best shop, and a fun fair for the smaller generation. We then had a display of cars from the 1960s, 70s and 80s, starting with a Morgan Plus 4 exhibited by Keith Pinnock, a 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback, Ian Betts' AC Cobra from 1982, a very rare Jensen FF Interceptor by Kieran Morgan, Terry Goodnuff's Ford Capri from 1985, Stuart Sarsby's Ford Capri 2.8 injection from 1984, Peter Ward's Ford Capri from 1972 in yellow, Gerald Miller's Ford Capri from 1983, Stephen Reed's MGBT from 1971. A beautiful British-built Morgan, which I don't have any details on, but with a wonderful interior and paintwork. Tony Cull brought along his Ford Escort RS2000 from 1976, which again was immaculate. Marcel Beatty brought along his Caterham 60th anniversary Sprint model from 2017. And now to something completely different, a forward control Land Rover fire engine from Peterborough Volunteer Fire Brigade. This was based at the Perkins Engine plant in Peterborough and presented to the volunteers in 1992. At St Peter's Church there was a teddy bear finding competition and the bell chamber was open for visitors, together with face painting and activities for children and teas and coffees being provided. We were then very lucky to have a fly pass from the RAF Memorial Flight.
There they are.
This was one of 2 London double-decker buses that proved very popular with the children. This end of the town was also the site of the food festival, where a great variety of food was available, with the emergency service volunteers on display and some more bric-a-brac and antique stalls. Interesting motorcycles were also on display.
Like I said, it was such an accident.
Everybody must agree that dancing is charm. When you got the certain one you love and you're wrong, stepping out with you will be a sweet interlude. A builder up, well, that'll put me in the mood. In the mood, you're real spotted in the mood. I wanna hide it, be alive and get the job. You've got to learn how. Hip, 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 hip like a heifer, pep, pep, pep. Hot as a pepper, step, step, step. Step like a stepper, we're mugging and hugging. We're in the mood now. Mr. What you call 'em, all you needed was fun. You can see the wonders that this evening has done. Your feet were so heavy too, they hardly could move. Now the light is devil's and you're right in the groove. You were only hungry for some musical food. You're absolutely positively in the mood. Sister, what you call 'em, I'm indebted to you. It goes to show what good includes can do. Never felt so happy and so fully alive. Tears so gentle, jumping is a powerful jive. Swingaroos giving you a new attitude. My heart is full of rhythm and I'm in the mood. In the mood, that's it, guys, I got it and I'm in the mood. You're real well spotted when you're in the mood. To be alive and get the job, you've got to learn how. Hip, 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 your hip just like a heifer full of pep, pep, pep. Hot as a pepper when you step, step, step. Step, step like a step, ooh, I'm mugging. And now we're hugging, 'cause we're in the mood. This is a German
Beautiful.
song,
Thank you.
and one of the original singers was, and some of the other singers. Darling, time would come for roll call, time for us to part. Darling, I'd caress you and press you to my heart. My lily of the lamplight, you will see me somewhere over there. To the golden I prepare, I knew my own lily Marley. Resting in our village, just behind the line. Even though we're parted, your lips are close to mine.
Bracelets came to me because I was the only one with a skinny enough wrist.
For those looking for vintage clothing and jewellery, we have the new Age Concern shop where the display did them proud.
Did you want the one that was photographed and sent to you on your phone? Okay.
Amps Wine Merchants is an award-winning fourth-generation independent wine business importing wines from privately owned vineyards and small producers.
Hang on.
The aims of the Oundle Vintage Festival were really to create a town event which attracts footfall to Oundle in order to highlight Oundle as a visitor destination and to encourage local trade. Also, and not to be forgotten, we aim to provide local residents with a major local event to look forward to, take part in and enjoy. At the same time, the festival will invest some of the receipts into improving the event and pass the remaining festival profits to a community fund that can be applied by those who have projects that will benefit the town and local groups.
Roll up, roll up. From Naples, Puccinella, and that's where the word punch comes from, Puccinella. Any more? The Punch and Judy show will be starting in 2 minutes.
There is also a big cycling community within Oundle and surrounding district, and there was a display of vintage bicycles and a few stalls selling vintage bicycle spare parts. In the courtyard was a small display of the history of Oundle School, together with various artefacts of the history of the town. Chris Room's Datsun 2402 joined Philipson's Land Rover, Craig Bingham's Peugeot 205, Tim Ellis's 1978 MGB, Trevor Cook's and Dan Skip and Susie Stage with the mantra "all belong to the Oundle Car Club."
this is Cedar Hoops. Highway.
Yeah, this one in light blue.
Well, it's now, it's like,
Monk Rock.
yeah, it's more back this way. Yeah, well with the engine casing and that as well. Jumping down.
Northamptonshire Age Concern UK help local elderly people and help them claim benefits, welfare benefits. They have 156 salaried full-time and part-time employees and run shops in most of the local towns, raising funds to make the best of later life and to help people have a secure and dignified old age.
Thank you very much indeed. We're going to play one more for you and then we're going to skedaddle. Sweet like cherry wine. I'm so glad you looked her. That's another time.
In days gone by, showmen with fairground rides would need electricity for lights, and that was one of the jobs that Nero, the showman's engine, would have done in its old life. And here you can see generating electricity via the flywheel to put the lights on. But its main job was to haul wagons containing wild animals between the circus sites as it travelled from the north of England down to Cornwall through the 1920s and 1930s. This would have been a load of maybe 50 or 100 tons travelling at something like 10 or 12 miles an hour, obviously fired by coal.
Stop to think of whether this little dream might fade. We put our hearts together, now we are one, I'm not afraid.
Along with another London double-decker bus presented by Stagecoach, we also had a very small display of vintage engines that would have been used as power sources, mostly on farms and estates, in the 1920s and 1930s. These would be rated at something like 2 or 5 horsepower. Sean Gentle brought along a Fiat 500N from 1959. The standard Vanguard ambulance of 1952 was built for factory use. It has a Vanguard Phase 1 front end and mechanicals, but a modified and strengthened Triumph chassis to extend the rear wheelbase. The body is aluminium and built by Mullins in Birmingham. This Austin was a 4-seater saloon, but in 1963 was converted to a 2-seater sports car. The present owner purchased it in 1972, and a rebuild was carried out in 1982 in time for its 50th birthday. Jonathan Lyons brought along his very rare BSA TB10 from 1924. The 1934 Morris Pre-Series, which cost £120 new, looking immaculate. This 1929 Rolls-Royce 20/25 was the 9th built and was used by Rolls-Royce as a trials car featuring in several magazines, but it was fitted after the war with a tank engine. Down the end of West Street we have a coffee stall and a crepe factory, Oundle Museum stand with exhibits from the museum, Kingscliff Airfield Museum also displayed prisoner of war base information with photographs. It is amazing that 27,000 German prisoners of war were processed at Kingscliff.
Whatever, and the moment that you are no longer any.
We then visit Greenman Antiques, packed with unique antiques and vintage finds and timeless treasures awaiting to be discovered. If you cross the road, we then see the Clock Shop, which is a specialist in antique clocks and expert restoration. 2 wonderful shops, one unforgettable visit.
That's not stuff that you guys have been.
Clive and Anne Rothwell's and Ray Lloyd's Willis Jeep from World War II era, and a display of weapons from that period. This is a small display of radio equipment with, on the floor, a hand-cranked electrical generator. The Peterborough Society of Model Engineers have brought their track along, and they promote the society and maintain a public presence after losing their permanent track several years ago. This was very popular with the children and raised useful funds for the society. A collection of minis from 1969 to 1992.
Here he is. Here's lovely Mr. Punch. Now, boys and girls, Mr. Punch likes to have his photograph taken with boys and girls. So if anybody wants to see me after the show for a photo with Mr. Punch, that's the time. Now then, boys and girls, who's brave enough to want to meet Crocodile? Are you sure? Just a minute, let me find Crocodile. Here it comes. Here's Crocodile. Now, boys and girls, Crocodile likes children and he likes them just to stroke his nose. Who wants to stroke his nose? Just say where you are. Come over there. Stroke his nose. Oh yes, he likes that. Over here, over here. Quick, quick, quick. Stroke his nose, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure this gentleman here would like to stroke the crocodile. Do you want to stroke his nose, sir? Well, just stroke his nose a little bit. Oh, dear me. Thought his fingers were sausages.
She knows the words.
I know the words.
Not all of them.
Never reaching the end. Letters I've written.
Now, in the original version of this video, at this point we would see the wonderful swing dancers dancing in the streets of Oundle and really enjoying themselves and entertaining the public. But unfortunately, YouTube won't allow the music that they're dancing to be played. So unfortunately, at this point, we have to curtail this clip. Should the dancers want a copy of their own dancing to Benny Goodman, please contact me. This ERF four-wheeler of Bradshaw's of Cotterstock was rescued from a farmyard in Warmington by Gordon Wilson from Middlesbrough and restored. We see our ex-ERF Flintox Tunbridge Wells lorry leaving. Used to haul building materials from Nottingham to Scotland. It's affectionately known as Sabrina because of the large front end. The Fordson Thames ET6 was built in Dagenham in the 1950s, and it's with a lorry like this that PC Howard started haulage, delivering animal food in particular.